Hello, welcome back. Today's topic is about North Shewa Multiport Railway Corridor Environmental Impact Assessment to 2050. The following is a preliminary strategic EIA framework, not a substitute for a site-specific ESIA. Actual impacts will depend on the final railway alignment, engineering design, construction methods, and sensitive areas encountered. Environmental component potential impact construction phase operation to 2050, significance key mitigation measures 1. Land and soil land acquisition, soil disturbance, erosion, and compaction high medium high minimize right-of-way, topsoil conservation, erosion control, progressive rehabilitation 2. Vegetation and forests removal of vegetation along railway corridor high medium high avoid sensitive habitats, minimize clearing, reforestation and compensatory planting 3. Wildlife and biodiversity habitat fragmentation and disturbance high in sensitive areas high wildlife surveys, ecological corridors, animal crossings, speed controls, avoid critical habitats 4. Rivers and water resources sedimentation, altered drainage, and contamination high medium high proper culverts and bridges, drainage design, sediment traps, spill prevention systems 5. Flooding and drainage railway embankment. NTSMA. Obstruct natural water flow high climate resilient drainage, adequately sized culverts, flood modeling, regular maintenance 6. Erosion and landslides cutting slopes and embankments can destabilize terrain high geotechnical surveys, retaining structures, slope stabilization, vegetation restoration 7. Air quality dust and construction emissions high low medium water spraying, covered trucks, equipment standards. Electrification where feasible 8. Noise and vibration construction machinery and passing trains high medium noise barriers near settlements, construction hour controls, track maintenance, low noise technology 9. Settlements displacement, land acquisition, and disruption of communities high medium high avoid settlements where feasible, fair compensation, livelihood restoration, stakeholder consultation 10. Agricultural land loss or fragmentation of PR. Productive farmland high medium high optimize alignment, minimize agricultural land take, irrigation/drainage crossings, compensation 11. Livestock rail crossings and restricted movement medium high livestock underpasses/overpasses, fencing, community access crossings 12. Industrial pollution waste, fuel, chemicals, and cargo spills medium hazardous material management, emergency response plans, containment systems. 13. Fuel and oil contamination leakage from locomotives, machinery, and terminals medium bunt storage, spill kits, drainage controls, emergency response 14. Solid waste co. Instruction and operational waste high medium waste segregation, recycling, licensed disposal, construction waste plans 15. Climate change increased heat, flooding, drought and extreme rainfall medium high by 2050 high climate risk assessment, heat resistant infrastructure, flood protection, resilient bridges and drainage 16. Greenhouse gases construction emissions, transport emissions high low medium if electrified medium. Electrification, renewable electricity, efficient construction, modal shift from road to rail. 17. Water consumption construction and terminal water demand medium water recycling, efficient construction methods, sustainable local water management 18. Landscape and visual impact railway embankments, bridges, stations, and terminals alter landscape. APES medium low landscape sensitive design, revegetation, visual screening 19. C. Cultural heritage damage to archaeological or cultural sites medium low high where present heritage surveys, chance find procedures, rerouting around important sites 20. Invasive species construction activities may spread invasive plants medium low biosecurity controls, monitoring, rapid removal. 21. Pollinators and ecosystems habitat disturbance may affect ecological services medium habitat restoration, native vegetation planting, pesticide controls 22. Positive environmental impact shift freight/passengers from road to rail high potential positive electrification, competitive rail freight, intermodal terminals 23, carbon reduction. An electrified railway can reduce transport emissions high potential positive renewable electricity, electrified operations, energy efficient rolling stock 24, water production modern drainage can improve management compared with poorly planned. Roads medium positive if maintained positive integrated watershed and drainage planning environmental management plan. Area 2050 target/objective indicator responsible body 1. Land minimize permanent land acquisition hectares acquired per km Railway Project Authority 2. Biodiversity no unnecessary destruction of critical habitat hectares avoided / restored Environmental Authority plus Railway Operator 3. Reforestation res. Tor disturbed vegetation trees / hectares restored contractor plus local authorities 4. Water protect rivers and groundwater water quality measurements environmental monitoring team. 5. Erosion stabilize exposed slopes erosion incidents contractor / operator 6. Climate resilience railway operational under projected 2050 climate conditions flood / heat disruption events railway infrastructure authority 7. Air quality maintain construction emissions within applicable standards PM / dust measurements contractor plus regulator 8. Noise protect communities NA. AR railway DB measurements railway operator 9. Waste maximize recycling / reuse percent waste recycled contractors / operators 10. Community minimize involuntary displacement and restore livelihoods households affected / restored project authority 11. Safety. Prevent chemical / fuel contamination number of major spills railway operator 12. Carbon increase low carbon rail operations tons code 2E avoided railway operator 13. Monitoring maintain continuous environmental monitoring annual compliance reports independent environmental auditor environmental priorities by CORR. EIA corridor main environmental con. CERM 2050 priority 1. Debre Berhan rightward arrow Addis / Shager rightward arrow Adama urban expansion, farmland, water, and settlement impacts high 2. Adama rightward arrow Awash rightward arrow Dire Dawa rightward arrow Djibouti arid ecosystems, heat, water scarcity, and flood crossings very high 3. Dire Dawa rightward arrow Ayesha rightward arrow Berbera arid / semi-arid ecosystems, water scarcity, and biodiversity very high 4. Debre Berhan rightward arrow Woldia rightward arrow Medema rightward arrow Fort mountain terrain, erosion, rivers, and biodiversity very high. Sudan 5. Woldia rightward arrow Mikel rightward arrow Masawa Adama rightward arrow Afar rightward arrow Azab mountain ecosystems, erosion, and water resources 6. Very high extreme heat, fragile arid ecosystems and water scarcity 7. Very high southern Ethiopia rightward arrow Moyle rightward arrow Lama Moyle rightward arrow Nairobi / Mombasa biodiversity, forests, wildlife, and community land 8. Very high wildlife corridors, agricultural land, and settlement impacts overall. L 2050 environmental assessment category. RE 1. Overall construction impact high assessment 2. OB. Ural operational impact 3. Medium. Potentially lower with electrification climate change risk high 4. Biodiversity risk high in sensitive corridors 5. Water resource risk high in arid / afar corridors 6. Social / environmental land impact high and alignment dependent 7. Potential CA. Urban benefit high 8. Potential road traffic reduction high 9. Long-term environmental value positive if properly designed and managed 2050 environmental prink. IPL, very high build less. Impact into the railway, avoid sensitive areas first, minimize unavoidable impacts, restore disturbed land, and use electrified rail to achieve long-term low-carbon regional transport. Thank you. See you soon.